Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to continue on with our discussion about various different techniques that we can use in TBC. And today we're going to be exploring something that was so broken and so powerful that was in fact removed in Wrath of the Lich King, and that is downranking. So what is downranking? Well, very simplistically, downranking is using a lower rank of a spell. So normally we would use the maximum rank of a spell, that being that it is arguably the most powerful. However, there are certain spells, and there are essentially two kinds of spells, that using a lower rank of them can be advantageous in certain situations. So the two types of spells that we would downrank is either a healing spell, and we'll discuss in a second why we would downrank a healing spell, and the second is a spell that has multiple aspects to it or multiple dimensions. And again, in a moment we'll go over that a bit more specifically, and I'll explain what we mean by this. So, downranking heals. Why would we downrank a heal? Well, there's essentially two reasons for downranking a heal. The first is to prevent overhealing, which is when we heal more than we effectively can. So if we take an example, we have our friendly warrior who has a health pool of 500 health. He's taken 200 damage from a mob hitting him. If we were then to use a heal that heals him for a total of 300 life, that would result in 100 overhealing, as he's only taken 200 damage, so we can only effectively heal him for 200 life. So in this situation, what we could do is, rather than waiting for him to take additional damage, is we can downrank a heal to ones that say heals for 150 or even specifically 200, and we'll heal him with that rank of heal, thus reducing or preventing entirely any overhealing that would naturally occur. The then second purpose for downranking heals is that in World of Warcraft we have plus healing as a stat. What this does is it adds a percentage of our plus healing to each of our heals, depending upon the length of our healing cast and the rank it's actually at. So a heal that is 3 seconds will gain 100% of plus healing, whereas a heal that is 1.5 seconds will receive less than 100%. This is done simply so that plus healing isn't completely broken. It's pretty broken when we take downranking into account, but this is an attempt to make it not too powerful. So what you would then do is we would use a lower rank of a heal that will then receive 100% or a significant percentage of our plus healing. So the heal's mana cost is balanced around its raw healing. It doesn't take plus healing into account. So if we, for example, have 200 plus healing, again, fictional number, and we use a 3 second heal, it's going to receive 200 plus healing. Now, if we use max rank of that heal, it will say it costs us 100 mana, it will heal for 100 and then gets 200 additional plus healing from our gear, so we get 300 healing for 100 mana. What we can then do with downranking is we could use a lower rank of the same heal with the same cast time, so it might in this case cost us 50 mana but heal for 75, but it still receives all of that plus healing. So as a result, we're getting the effective healing from our gear is added equally, despite the fact that we're using less mana. So it makes our plus healing more effective mana wise, and our healing more effective in general. This isn't honestly the best explanation, and I'm not going to go super in depth into it simply because there's people that have done it better than me. So down in the description below there's going to be a link to Def Camp and Melderon's video on Ret in TBC, so not Ret in TBC, Resto in TBC, and they do a fantastic job of explaining all of the different downranks that you can use on Shaman, and the coefficients, the healing, and all of the maths behind it. So I don't want to sort of just regurgitate what they've said, so if you're interested in this aspect, check their video out, it's absolutely fantastic, and the channel in general is brilliant. So if we're not doing healing downranking, what other downranks do we have? Well, we have downranking spells that have multiple aspects to them or multiple dimensions. They do two different things. And the easiest example of this to explain is Earthshock. So Earthshock has two component parts to it. It has the damage aspect, it deals a certain amount of damage when you cast it onto a target, and it has the secondary aspect that it will interrupt a cast. Now, as you increase the rank, you will then increase both the mana cost but also the damage it's dealing. However, there might be times when we aren't interested in dealing damage with the spell, but we do want to use the component that it will interrupt. In this case, we're just off-shocking somebody or interrupting their heal, for example. So in this case, we don't necessarily want to spend the max amount of mana because the damage just isn't important. So we will use a rank 1, which will cost significantly less mana than the max rank, but will still have 100% effectiveness when it comes to the interrupt aspect. And this is similar on all of our shocks, but I'll go through those in a moment. So this is sort of very quick and simple, the general theory behind downranking. And what we'll do now is we'll jump onto my Shaman and we'll just go through all of the various spells that I downrank and maybe a suggestion or two that I don't downrank, but it's possible for you to do so if you wish. So I'll be back in about 2 seconds. And here we go, guys, welcome back. So as you can see in front of us right now, we just have my my normal Shaman. This is just Caitlin on Karazhan, and what we have here is all of my bars showing. So this includes all of the bars that I might otherwise have hidden, namely this this cluster of 3 here. I would normally have those hidden, but for the purposes of today's demonstration, we're going to have them showing just so we can physically see what spells we have. So, as we discussed earlier, we can downrank spells that have multiple aspects to them, or multiple components, and then we can also downrank our heals. So, very quickly, I'll just go over the heals. As I said, if you're very interested or you want to do it for yourself, then I would say look at Deathcamp and Melderon's channel. They have fantastic info when it comes to downranking Shaman heals. But essentially what I have is I don't have a downrank for our Lesser Healing Wave. I don't ever do that. I have a downranked for Chain Heal, so that is downranked to rank 2. Again, this is just because that is a very mana effective coefficient or very mana effective rank to be using. Then I have max rank of Chain Heal. Then I have a rank 7 of Healing Wave. Again, this is just used because it's very effective, but there's some other reasons as well later on, but for now we're just going to say we've got rank 7 for mana, and then we have max rank used, and those are the heals that I use, and those are the ones that are downranked. I do have rank 1 bound, as you can eagle eyes will see just down here, but I'll go over that in a minute as it's discussing a different aspect. So beyond heals, what spells do I use that are downranked? Well, as we discussed briefly earlier, we have Earthshock, and the reason for that obviously is that it is a interrupt, or it's a primary interrupt. So I have a rank 1 of that found here to S, and then I also have a focus rank 1, so this will instantly Earthshock my focus target if I want to interrupt them in an arena. Along with that, I then have downranked Frostshock. Frostshock, similar to Earthshock, has 2 components. It has the damaging component, which scales with mana, so if I want to do maximum damage, I'll use the maximum mana. And then it has a secondary component, which, unlike Earthshock, doesn't interrupt. What it does is it provides a 50% slow for 8 seconds. So if I'm wanting to assist my team in catching up to a target in PvP, this is very common. For example, in Restoration Shaman, Rets don't have a slow, they have a pseudo slow, I guess you could say, with Judgment Justice, but the Frostshock, rank 1 Frostshock being casted on their target consistently means that the Ret can always stay up to them very easily and keep the damage. It's equivalent almost entirely to a Hamstring, which is the same slow of 50%, and similarly if you're being trained by a warrior and you Frostshock him, you then Ghost Wolf and move, you will be moving faster than he is, because you have a 50% slow, he has a 50% slow, but you then have a 20% increase from your Ghost Wolf. And then finally, the final shock obviously is Flame Shock, and we again have this down ranked to rank 1. This second aspect to a Flame Shock, beyond the damage, is that it provides a dot, which we can use in order to keep rogues from re-stealthing or druids from re-stealthing. So the next thing we'll quickly discuss is our down-ranked fire totems. So fire totems are, oddly enough, not the most commonly used in Arena. They are a bit finicky and not too great, but we do in fact actually down-rank 2 of them. The first one we downrank is Magma Totem. This is an AoE pulsing totem which we can place down and has a chance to knock rogues out of stealth. And then the second one is Serum Totem, and Serum Totem we use similar to how a Frost Elemental from a Frost Mage will, his auto attacks will use up charges of our Grounding Totem because it counts as a spell. So rather than a good, Frostbolt being grounded, it would just be the Frostbolt from a elemental. In this case, Serum Totem does the same thing. So if we are against another Shaman, he may be trying to protect his heals from being shocked by placing down grounding totems. We place a Serum Totem, the Serum Totem then attacks anybody, it will then go into the grounding and uses up that grounding charge. And we're going to just mention that we are using a rank 1 of Wind Fury Totem. Wind Fury Totem, again, 2 aspects to it. It gives an instant attack, and then it buffs that instant attack with some additional attack power. Now, we get an instant attack irregardless of the rank of the totem. What changes is the amount of additional attack power. Now, it might not seem like it's a lot mana-wise, however, because we rotate our Wind Fury Totem so consistently, placing grounding back to Wind Fury, grounding back to Wind Fury, we want to make sure that that Wind Fury Totem is as cheap as possible, and we don't want to be placing rank 5 of it for it then just to be replaced 2 seconds later. So next we then have our rank 1 Lightning Bolt. Rank 1 Lightning Bolt is predominantly used for totem stomping enemy totems, so such as a Mana Tide, for example, if they haven't hidden it very well. We're using a rank 1 here because it's a considerably faster cast, it's 1 second faster, and then obviously it's a considerably cheaper mana wise, it being 285 less mana. So next we go on to some healing things, and we've got our down ranked on Earth Shield. So I won't dwell on this too much just because I did do a video on Earth Shield. I'll have it ping up on your screen right Earth Shield now. Has again 2 aspects to it. It has the healing, where it has 6 charges. Each time you take damage it uses a charge and heals you for an amount. That scales with the rank of Earth Shield. However, what doesn't scale with rank of Earth Shield is that it gives you 30% resistance to pushback. So this is important because it's coupled with our talents to give us 100%. So unless we have Earth Shield, we don't have 100% pushback. And if we find ourselves swapping Earth Shield consistently, or if it's being dispelled, we may just want to use the lower rank in order to give us that anti-pushback, slightly less healing, but also saving us some mana. As I said, there are greater nuances to Earth Shield, and they'll be in the video discussed previously. And finally, the last down rank that I use and we'll be discussing today is rank 1 of Healing Wave. So rank 1 of Healing Wave has a couple of uses. First is it can get us into combat. So if, for example, we are playing with a Warlock, the Warlock can send his pet in to attack the opponent. He gets in combat, and then as he pulls the pet back, we heal the pet, and that drops us into combat, meaning that we're then immune to things such as sap. So that's one way of doing it. However, what I will say is that's one method. A slightly better method is in fact just to buff the pet with water walking. But if you don't have any fish oil on you, you can use the rank 1 of Healing Wave. And then the second aspect to it is that we can use it to proc Ancestral Healing, which is an armor buff from when you crit. So you would just simply be spamming rank 1 heals onto your target until you get the crit. The crit pops, he gains the buff, and he then has some additional armor, but also more importantly in some cases he has an additional trash buff, which means that your Earth Shield has less chance to be spell stolen or dispelled, same with your Bloodlust. And finally, the final aspect to Healing Wave rank 1 that we can utilize is that it will give us stacks of Healing Way. Healing Way is a stacking buff that once you have 3 stacks on your target will give them an additional 18% healing from your healing waves. However, it does have a duration, and what we can use rank 1 to do is rank 1 to keep it reapplied. So the target may have peeled his, the target we're healing may have peeled off the opponent, so they're not taking any damage. So we don't need to heal them. If we did, it would result in the overhealing we discussed earlier. However, we don't want healing way to drop, so we'll just use the rank one that's a lot cheaper mana wise, and B, a lot faster cast, so we're less vulnerable to being CC'd or disrupted or interrupted while casting it. However, it will still apply healing way perfectly fine, which again gives us the additional healing, and as we discussed, it gives us an additional buff that we can maybe protect from Bloodlust. So guys, that's it for me when it comes to downranking. I'd love to hear from you guys what you think, whether you want to start, introducing some of these downrank yourself, whether you think it's useful, and I'm really curious to see what you guys downrank. I don't know every class completely in and out, and I'd be really curious to see if you guys have got any sneaky downranking on your own class that you found to be particularly spicy and useful. That having all been said, as always, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate the views. This video is coming out just after we've hit 300 subscribers here on YouTube, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for all of your views, all of the shares, all of the likes, all of the comments. It's been a fantastic month for the channel growth wise, and hopefully I can keep giving you guys content that you want to watch, and we can keep growing the channel together. So as always, give us a subscribe if you want to. If you want more content, then you can check us out on Twitch, where we're streaming most days these days doing Arena. Equally, questions down in the comment section. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down if you don't really like it. Let me know what you think, guys, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Cheers.